I think it's brilliant, and I might start coding it this afternoon.
You can. So this is apps for offline use.
Pokémon Go is this, super successful app. How about Pokémon Go, but for real people? So like finding people in your community. Now, I don't mean stalking people. I mean finding people of interest in your community, right? Like there are cool shop owners in my community, right? I have a friend who owns a great gift shop in town. If more people knew about her and her store, they might buy more things there. So wouldn't it be cool if you could go collect Julie because she has a cool location? Maybe it's, meeting a local congressperson. Like there's a local historian that I know that, he'd be a cool person to talk to. There's the guy that runs the computer museum.
Yeah.
He'd be a cool guy to, collect, so to speak, And so you kind of gamify getting people out there.
How many times have you just watched a video or something where someone has said, and by the way, they say as an aside, this is one of the most interesting people to talk to. Don't you wish you knew more people around you where you would love to go and pick their brain about, maybe they make violins, I don't know.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
I don't know how you would do that, but that kind of app is to find them, but there would have to be a central index of who is putting those interesting people into the index, or the shop owners or whatever.
It's kind of like TripAdvisor for people.
For people. Yeah. Go and see this person if you want to know a bit about
X.
Yeah.
And and in there I could see there being things like, this person doesn't like to talk to people.
Yeah.
Don't go talk to
Don't
this
go
guy.
and talk to them.
Like this guy's a curmudgeonly old bastard that makes
so
violins.
it's the pro and the con. Okay. Avoid this person.
It's like TripAdvisor, right? It's like
oh man.
People Advisor.
Okay. Yeah, People Advisor.
Like, oh, this person's so great.
Yeah.
You should go. He's always happy to talk about the history of the town, like whatever it is.
A soundtrack app for books. It syncs the ebook you're reading and plays a soundtrack based on the page/chapter you're on. Something that syncs with Kindle or Kobo, whatever. Intense music for fight scenes, light ambient music for quiet scenes, etc. A full score specifically for a book.
This is brilliant.
I can hear the purists already saying, no, this is sacrilege. You're supposed to be using your imagination.
You don't have to use it.
For what? You don't have to use it. Exactly right. And I thought, games already do this. You go into different scenes. You've got different Foley and ambient sounds in a scene. You've got different music for that scene.
It's so easily done with Kindle, etc.
Exactly. You're in a dungeon, you're in a forest, you're in a city. The sound changes based on it.
Atmospheres, not just music.
Does it follow you? And one of the ideas I had was maybe there's a marker that slowly goes down and scrolls while you're scrolling what you're reading, and it would kind of know where you are. I don't know how it would retool
just page
itself.
by page is fine.
Page by page, but sometimes things can change a lot in one page.
Yeah.
And so you're in a romance scene and suddenly there's battle music.
You should see some of my romances. I think it's brilliant, and I might start coding it this afternoon.
Yeah.
No, I really think it's cool. As a person that loves Foley sound and music, obviously, and I think it's a great idea.
It would need automation, like a lot of automation. It would need to have to be able to figure out how to cut one track short quickly, fade into the next one. Automated crossfades, basically.
Well, it's very much like, think of an audiobook, right? I'm not an audiobook person. I read books. I never do audio. My wife does a lot of audiobooks. But do audiobooks ever have soundtrack
They
in them?
do have them. And in fact, I think this poster actually even listed one that's a word for it. And she was saying specifically not this. She was saying a score for music. I don't know if she meant by the audiobook one, is it actually Foley? Is it like actually ambient sound?
Yeah.
Like when the person is in the city, maybe that's what they mean, like old radio plays.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. I love that idea of like kind of a radio play. So it's like a combination of music and sound effects.
Yeah, I think the music aspect is what she's really talking about, which is
that's fine. I mean, maybe it's just an option there where you could just turn off the sound effects.
Yeah.
Or, just have music and set your volume levels. And I think it's very cool.
Especially if you've got your headphones on, you're in a busy place and you want to just like zone out. You got your book.
Yeah.
You want to have the music come on now and off you go.
And I could see publishers doing different levels of music too, right? So maybe there's just like a ambient background music, and maybe there's like an active music thing where it's so the ambient background music would be very ambient, depending on
for those who want less
music, might just be classical, or it might be like an ambient electronic thing.
I could see that working, like ambient music in the background while you work. It's same idea.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people request this. People want better Tinder for friends. for,
Oh, yeah.
like there's meetup.com, and it just doesn't cut the mustard.
It doesn't cut the mustard. That just doesn't work.
But just a better Tinder type solution for making friends. People move to new areas. They're looking for friends. I see it a lot on, like the local groups on Facebook, local groups on Reddit, the different local subreddits where people are like, hey guys, I just moved to the area. I like to play volleyball and surf, and, anybody else that likes to do these things. I think there's definitely room there, because I think social media has failed us in the way that Facebook 20 years ago.
Anti-social media,
Facebook 20 years ago was an interesting experiment, right?
Sure.
Like, there was, I met people on there.
Yeah.
I can remember getting together with people locally.
Yeah.
Like, we went and played games together. I mean, I'm talking a long time ago now, but when Facebook first really, really hit and took off, people were kind of open to this. And maybe it was even MySpace, before that. It was way more social.
I used AOL. This is the 90s.
Yeah, so did I.
Actually met up with people from AOL. We had brunch. It was good fun.
Yeah.
You never know who you're going to meet. You want to go bowling, you want to go see a movie together, whatever. Yeah. I could totally see that.
And I don't know what it is. And maybe it's, we've talked about these things a lot, that like looking for like-minded people out there to hang out with. Is it since COVID? Is it less of a thing? Like, I feel like people are being somewhat antisocial, and maybe it's just my perception. I don't know.
I mean, also because people are a little bit more gun shy, I think, because of partly because of what COVID sort of accelerated a lot of maybe our political divisiveness, and not just in America, everywhere.
Sure.
I don't know if that, because now you're cooped up at home for a year.
Well, that's even more of a reason to seek out like-minded people.
And I think maybe that's why, maybe now that while the iron is hot, I think maybe now is the perfect time for that kind of app. An app that lets you scan a hotel bathroom's shower system and immediately tells you how to operate it. Now, that is the starting idea.
Yeah, I kind of like it.
And actually, it's funny because we were at a 4-star hotel in Europe, and I walked into the shower, and I did not know how to work the shower. I was standing in there pressing
this goes
very
back to
shiny
my
squares
thing from a previous episode about developing UI for seniors.
It's absolutely true. I'm just like looking at this thing and eventually I had to call down to the front desk and say, I don't understand how the shower works. What do I press?
Stupid
Americans, why you here? So that was the starting idea. But then I got to think, well, wait a minute. Why only like showers? Of course, not just showers. Why couldn't you walk around taking a photo of things? And then I actually looked this up, and Google Lens does this. If you take a photo of something and upload it, Google Lens lets you, it'll match that photo and it'll find out information about that photo.
So you can grab the manual.
It doesn't do that. All it does is show you websites for that item.
Right, I've seen it,
And I think, wow, wouldn't it be cool if it could go and find the manual?
Yeah, or a video.
And common problems with this product.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's a hotel and you need to know, I don't know, things about the hotel, let's say. Just from the sign outside or something, things like that. Everyday objects become scannable like a QR code. Scan it and the app lists info about it, how to use it, where to buy it, the repair manual.
Well, I have seen that in Airbnbs, right? Where people have, like, there's something, whether it's the thermostat or the television, and they've left either a little detailed bulleted list, like, press this button, press that, flip this switch, do this to make this work.
Interesting.
At the Airbnb.
And the first place you go, like, for model XYZ of this device, how do I solve this particular problem?
Right.
It's on Reddit more often than not. Yeah. And just, to take a photo of it and off you go. I'm not even necessarily taking a photo of it. I like the idea of just being able to, put your camera on it, and it just does the same thing as a QR code. Like, oh, you're obviously interested in what you're pointed at. I can go and match this
just show me a video.
Video, whatever it may be.
Just show me a video of it. Yeah. How about an app that will give you a summary of pages in a book from X to Y? So let's say you're reading a book, and for whatever reason, this happens to me often, where I'm like, is this going anywhere?
Yeah.
Is this book going to be good?
I'm like it with TV shows.
And I'd love to just say, hey, this book that I'm reading, page 300 to 380, what's it about? And it gives you an AI summary, page 300 to 380 of maybe just the end of a chapter is boring for whatever reason. Yeah, it's like fast forwarding, right?
Yeah, fast forwarding.
Without losing
what happens,
without losing the detail.
I agree with that. And sometimes, in fact, I've started and stopped watching several Netflix shows and other streaming platforms where it's been highly recommended. I'll get into it. I'll be halfway through the first episode. And maybe even I'll get through the first episode.
Or a couple episodes
and
even,
I'm in the second episode and I'm just like,
this
is not doing it for me.
Yeah. And it could just be your mood that day.
Maybe so, but it's rare that I come back to it. And that is the killer, I'm sure, for producers of these shows.
Yeah.
If you once you're out, you rarely come back.
Make better stuff.
I don't know necessarily, but it's just, is it my wiring? I'm just not seeing something in this. Everyone else is raving about this show. Dark, for instance.
Everybody's
Dark.
I watched
German show, and I watched 2 episodes. I'm just like, I'm not getting this.
I watched 80 to 90% of Dark, and I stopped.
Wow, you got that far through it.
Yeah, I enjoyed. I love time travel is my favorite subject.
I love time travel, but I thought I would totally dig it.
Time travel and bank heists.
I thought I would totally dig it. I wasn't into it.
And it's hard to go back once you've watched it,
But fast forwarding books, I mean, probably other things too, like news stuff. Again, the summarize. We've been over this before.
Yeah.
The AI summarizes for news stories, for podcasts, for newsletters.
Yeah, I mean, you could literally. It's pretty easy to.
Too long didn't read culture. Like we just there is so much content.
Pretty easy to summarize. Have AI summarize pages.
Yeah.
But they kind of need the whole context of the entire book, right, to do it well.
And that's where you can get into trouble with stuff that's important. You want to be very careful. You don't want to go out summarizing news stories if you think you need to get the whole picture.
That's why I thought, books. Well, but books can be nonfiction.
Yeah.
Could be important as well. If you're reading a nonfiction book.
An app that geotags job vacancies, so for each city block around you, you know who is hiring and where. I actually went and searched this up, and someone in the UK had actually used Google Maps for this. If I wanted to find, jobs at little mom and pop stores and libraries and what have you around me, just in my area. And you could also use it for maybe apartment vacancies and store sales. So you can just walk out your door. Just like an
organic thing. Yeah.
An organic thing. You walk out your door with your phone and you can just walk down your main street.
Yeah.
And that
it's
place,
like
that place, and that place.
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go, again, I know. It's kind of interesting.